Today's video is a follow-up to an email that I sent out to my email list last week. If you haven't yet subscribed to the email list, you definitely want to do that. Go down. The link is in the description. The U.S. and world economies are essentially on life support, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy, and if you want to follow along my journey as I build wealth for my family, then subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And remember, none of this is intended to be financial advice. I am merely a guy sitting in front of a computer talking to a camera. So today's video is really a follow-up video to an email that I sent out to my email list last week. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the email list, go down in the description. There's a place where you can put in your email, and I send content out to that, and we'll be sending more of that as time goes on. Basically sent a video that really fundamentally broke down and explained how the U.S. economy works, because we are basically a credit-based economy, and it goes through the whole way that central banks and interest rates and money printing and how all of that works. This is a follow-up to that, and here's what I want to talk about today. So this is the video that I sent out, but this is what I want to talk about. Jamie Dimon, JP Morgan, whether you like him or not, and I want to watch this right now.
It's a hurricane. Right now it's kind of sunny, things are doing fine. You know, everyone thinks the Fed can handle this. That hurricane is right out there down the road coming our way. We just don't know if it's a minor one or Superstorm Sandy or Sandy or Andrew or something like that, and it's you better brace yourself.
So this was uploaded June 1st. I don't know if when this was filmed. I think it was filmed last year. It's part of a longer video, but anyway, he's basically saying that there is a hurricane coming, and it's true. You can see it at the grocery store. You see it at the gas pump. Inflation is going up, 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 and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that the U.S. economy is on life support, and it's not something that has happened in the last 3 years, not something that's happened in the last 10 years. This is a decades-long problem that started way back with the New Deal, way back when, and then was exacerbated whenever we were taken off of the gold standard. And so what happened since then is, you know, that we have gone through these cycles of money printing and retraction and recession. I want to show you a couple things. This is the U.S. debt clock, and we've gone over this before, but I think it's worth talking about again. Look at the U.S. national debt. This is the U.S. national debt is $30 trillion. And the U.S. gross domestic product is basically everything that the U.S. economy generates is $23 trillion. And so this little section right here I find very interesting. This is the federal debt to GDP ratio. So when we look at this number, back in 1960, the debt to GDP ratio was 52%. Then in 1980, it was 34%, so it actually went down. And then in 2000, 57%. We are now at 129.7% debt to GDP ratio, meaning we are spending well beyond what we are taking in. And if you look right here, again, U.S. federal spending is $6 trillion, just over $6 trillion. But look at this, the federal tax revenue. This is the amount of revenue that the federal government takes in through taxes, and it breaks it down, tax revenue and payroll tax, corporate tax. So it breaks it all down, but this is the total U.S. federal tax revenue, $4.3 trillion. So we're talking almost, right here, shows it, $1.6 trillion in a federal budget deficit every year. And this is going up. I mean, it was obviously accelerated in 2020 and 2021 with all of the free money that went out to everybody. But the reality is the U.S. economy is dead and dying, and it's not, in my view, it's not coming back. We are, in fact, let me see if I can pull this up. All right, so this is interesting. This is Dinar Durham's website, but it talks about fiat currency. And this is really a huge thing. According to a study of 775 fiat currency. If you're not familiar with fiat currency, basically fiat currency is printed money with nothing that backs it. So the US dollar, when we went off the gold standard, there was nothing backing that dollar except the goodwill of the United States. And this fiat currency has been used millennia. But it says, according to a study of 775 fiat currencies, there is no historical precedent for a fiat currency that has succeeded in holding its value. Zero. That means that eventually all fiat currencies are going to die. 20% failed through hyperinflation. So 1/5 failed through hyperinflation. 12% were destroyed by independence. So basically a country that revolted against its leaders, and so the currency collapsed. 23 are still in circulation, approaching one of the other outcomes. So that means that 23 were moving towards that. But this is the key part. The average life expectancy for fiat currency is 27 years, with the shortest lifespan being 1 month. Founded in 1694, the British pound sterling is the oldest fiat currency in existence. So 1694, the pound sterling has been around at 317 years, but it is clearly an anomaly. However, success is relative. The British pound was defined as 12 ounces of silver, so it's worth less than 1/200th or 0.5% of its original value. In other words, the most successful long-standing currency in existence has lost 99.5% of its value. And then it goes in and talks about different currency. So let's talk about the US dollar. The US dollar went off the gold standard in 1971. So if anyone's interested in doing a little bit of math here, 2022 minus 1971, the US dollar, fiat dollar, is going on 51 years. So it has almost doubled the life expectancy. And the reason that the US dollar has survived so long is because it has been a world reserve currency ever since the petrodollar way back when. But we're not going to get into all of that. We're going to be doing some future videos. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to see stuff like that coming up. But I say all of that to say that this economy, this dollar, is dying. They've already tried to slow down inflation by boosting up interest rates, but you saw what happened. Whenever they went up 75 basis points, 0.75%, the stock market just tanked. And so really we're at, I don't even know what we're at right now, percentage-wise, but it really needs to be like probably 12 or 15% interest rates, and we're not there. If we went there, the economy would collapse. So they're really in this tough predicament because central banks basically have two things at their disposal. They can raise and lower interest rates, and that can adjust how inflation works and how quickly the economy rises or falls, or they can print money. And so the interest rates, if they raise that, it's going to collapse everything. And so now we're in this other predicament where the only other tool they have is to print money, but you know what's happening in the grocery store, at the gas pump. Everything is collapsing, and so it is a matter of time until things just fall apart altogether. And who knows, maybe I'll get dinged for this video, but I think it's worth putting out there. It's valuable for you to know this, because if you think, like many people, that the stock market's going to come back, it's just a little downturn, it's going to come back. This is nothing like anything we have seen before. My suspicion is that we're pushing towards Great Depression type issues, maybe bigger than that. So subscribe to the channel, go down there and hit the bell icon, but also go down into the description and click on the link and join the email list. Who knows what will happen to this channel eventually, because I'm not going to be holding back anymore. I'm going to start posting and publishing things, and if one day this channel goes away, at least you'll be on the email list and you'll be able to get some of those emails that I sent out. This is the last little thing that I want to talk about, and it's talking about basically the 5 steps life cycle of fiat currency. And so stage one is fueled by optimism, euphoria. So when a fiat currency is created, or in our case, when we went off the gold standard, and they promised we're not going to print more money, yeah, well, we know how that all works out. Optimism, euphoria is politicians promise growth, stimulus, with the least amount of pain and discipline. In the beginning, there will be a promise of fiscal responsibility, of course. Print only what the country needs and live within a budget. Well, you know, you see how that has worked. Stage two, restrictions will slowly be removed. We saw that happen from the currency creation process, and it just gets easier and easier for the creators of this fiat to print money. Stage three is a gambling stage with excess liquidity. It makes its way into the stock market and the real estate market. We've seen this. I mean, you look at what stocks have done. You know, they've started printing all this money in the last 2 years, and what has happened to the stock market and the crypto market? It's been extremely inflated because people had excess dollars, so they put it somewhere. They put it into the market. It stimulates growth. This means interest rates must be maintained at artificially low levels. We've seen that. Really low levels, 0% on most. Interest rates kept low at the same time. There's significant money printing. People will have to take risk on the stock market and real estate market just to keep up with inflation. And again, we've seen that. Stage four, this is the penultimate stage of the fiat currency. Sluggish growth in Western currencies force financial institutions to try to make money through other means than financing and brokerage fees. At this stage, corruption prevails, fundamentals are ignored, and wealth is concentrated into the hands of a few. At this point, individuals must look out for themselves by not trusting the government or financial advisors. Those who failed to do so would suffer potential loss in the later part of stage 4 and 5. And so we are getting to that point. Most financial advisors, if you go to them right now, they're going to say, continue to put money in the stock market, it's going to come back. This is not financial advice, but I'm of the opinion that that is not the case. I feel like we are in life support, and this stock market is going to crash. And then stage 5 occurs when there is hyperinflation. Now, I don't think we're to the hyperinflation stage yet. We are seeing significant inflation. We'll see a little bit of deflation. We're seeing it in some areas like lumber and different things where people aren't spending money on certain things. They're holding that money to pay for food, pay for gas, etc. But hyperinflation is the worst economic phase in the fiat cycle. Stage 5, the currency becomes worthless. At this stage, precious metals are often reoccurring in the monetary system to be used as currency or be used as a backup to the currency. Keep in mind that hyperinflation has occurred at least 56 times during the last 200 years. And so I say all of that to say, really take a look around you and analyze and think about what's really going on and what the end goal is, and how things could change. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't. I will see you on the next one.